Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, traders. This is the man upstairs signing in, and as you can see, we're live in a trade, trying to make some pips here. And this is the continuation of the trend line lesson. Basically, what we have here is confirmation of a trend line break right here. Okay, here was the trend line that was actually broken. Went up, backed itself up. We've got a minor A, B, C, then D. Here would be the D. Then we've got a A, B, backed itself all the way up. Then we've got started all over again. A, B, could have been a B here, but then it broke it. There was a tweezer tops that were trying to break in our new directional correction here. Bounced off the trend line to correct itself during the middle of the day. Came up, recovered. Nice engulfish bullish candle. Waited for a little bit over an hour and a half, so this was 30, an hour and a half. I'm sorry, an hour and 15 minutes. Then it broke out, got in a trade, made this much profit here, got out of the trade because of this humongous wick, backed itself up. Now it's the beginning of the Asian session tonight, and it took off. Let us in just a minute ago, and now we're in. Now here, let me explain how we would trade a trend line, seeing that we're actually in the 15-minute chart right this second. These trend lines here off the 1 hour is the exact same as is in the 15, except that we've got longer, more powerful wicks. Now here we don't have the preciseness that we can actually view on a 15-minute. Why? Because the candle wicks don't allow us to actually have that type of precision. It's basically like in the 15-minute you can microscope in on your moves. So we've got here the yellow. They're backwards, by the way. This should have been green, this should have been yellow, but then they're both green now. At this point they're both now green. Okay. Now in the 15 there's a trend line in between here, between this one and this one. Now on this particular chart, this trend line here is now the inner trend line. There's going to be in a moment the new trend line, which the trend line would actually be then support, and that would go all along here. So let me show you how that's drawn. That would be from that point right there where it's connected, okay, to that point right there, because you can't ever cross any pivots. Again, this would here be a pivot, the lowest point of the next lowest high for uptrends, okay. In the downtrends, such as we have over here, let's say this green line here, you would go from the pivot would be the next highest low. Okay, so highest high of the lowest range in that direction. And then of course you couldn't cross into here. You couldn't like come in here and try to go this point here to this point here. That wouldn't work. You can't do that. Okay. Now hopefully you have some questions this time around, and you'll be able to, I'll be able to address them concerning that particular question. I know that was one of the most difficult things for me to accept initially when I was learning how to draw trend lines. This is the day chart, and I'm going to touch base a little bit on why that particular trade is a solid trade and why I have it backing itself up a little over 100 pips. And that's this right here. This is the day chart on the GBP JPY, and basically I was watching it all day back itself up into this beautiful, extremely large wick. So we have this wick, and so the outer circle is yellow because we don't have a confirmation on the morning star, yet the trend line bounce, which is now confirmed, is here, and that's part of our lesson. So I am circling it green as in confirmation. Remember, orange circles are resistance pivot points and or markers, and then yellow is wait and see, let's wait to confirm, and then green obviously is confirmed. So then here on the 4-hour chart, we know that we had our A, B, C's, and we're drawing them all over the place there. I'm going to show you here again one more time how we would draw these trend lines, these new trend lines that we have. Now in the 4-hour, again, in the 1 hour that I just drew a second ago, we have very accurate precision compared to, relatively speaking, to a 4-hour. And the 4-hour here, we're going to be able to do this here, but it's going to look kind of crappy, right? Crud. We're not really seeing accuracy. But those would be the pivots at that point. You don't cross this one with this one, and you don't cross this one with this one. Now you can go from the lowest low or the highest high, depending on where you're at, highest high, and cross another highest high, as long as even the corners can be cut off literally, as long as you don't go over another pivot somewhere else. In fact, this would not even be a pivot. It would have been a pivot if this was the only candle alive, if this one and this one were not, but it's not, so then you wouldn't. If that was the case, it would look something like this, okay? Like that. All right? Like that. So as you can see, that corner right there would be cut off. But it is not, so then we will draw it from here. And we go all the way up to this one. Okay? Correct. Okay. So then, now that we're confirmed on how we're drawing things and why we're drawing things, let's go back to the 15-minute and see why. So here's our order. Our order is in at 39.27, and our stop is in at 38.80. Okay, not too much. You know, basically 50 pips. That's about standard for this type of trade. The reason why it's specific as far as this trade is concerned and why it's exclusive, and I could even back it up just a little bit more, is because you can always trade when you have a confirmation on trendline break, especially if it's a solid engulfish bearish. This, by the way, is not confirmed. I got in because I was waiting for this trendline break to occur. This, however, is not a confirmation. I will not get into that today. However, the trade that we see now, if that candle right there, this 15-minute candle, right now it's 7:29 in 1 minute. If this candle here, if this candle here that's forming right now, right here, this candle here, closes right now and it stays green, then we have a confirmation of the trend line break. 15 minutes out, there it goes. There it goes. It just confirmed. It was green. It is green. So what will happen is that now we have a confirmation, thank God, and this stop would be 15 pips below the last close of this, the previous open of the previous candle. Now you could be really aggressive and do 15 pips below the new candle that opens, which actually closes the confirmation. It would be this one, not the one that just opened, but this one. I'm not feeling that aggressive tonight because I actually want to capture a little over 100 pips. All right, so I'm not going to do that. I'm placing it 15 pips below the actual trend line. All right, as you can see, we're moving north. I want to see this probably within the next, I would say within the next 4 to 8 hours, touch this trend line. I believe it'll probably go with the help of the evening session after 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, looking good. Well, I hope you guys are understanding this and catching on. Thanks a lot for all the input, and I will continue to send out these messages. This is, by the way, a live trade, so we're looking good right now. And yeah, all right. Remember, if you can hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hand and have a purpose, a large purpose, one that excites you and scares you all at the same time. This is the man upstairs signing out. Make it happen.